Hello and welcome to this video on the competitive environment, market size and the impact of competition. In this series of videos we're looking at the competitive environment and how the other businesses in an industry can impact on the business that we're studying. In this video we're going to look at the link between the size of the market and competition, and then secondly think about the impact of competition and how businesses might respond. Let's start off by talking about market size. Market size is the total sales value or sales volume in a given market, and it can be calculated by the number of units sold across all businesses in that market and the price. So for example, if there are 2 million cars sold at an average price of £15,000, then the market size is 2 million times 15,000, £30 billion. It can also be expressed as the number of buyers or sellers in a particular market. Now, in terms of market size, we might talk about global markets, which are where businesses sell products worldwide and have a large presence in many different countries. For example, the car market, we would say that's probably a global car market. A national market, if we talk about national market, we talk about a market that is confined just to the borders of one country. And lastly, we might talk about local markets. And these tend to be quite small areas, such as cities, towns, regions, or maybe even villages or residential areas. How will operating in a large market link with the level of competition? Well, there's going to be some very large firms competing if it's a large market. And this tends to be more complex and challenging for businesses to be operating on a large scale with different supply chain issues, different customers in different markets, and more difficult to coordinate the business's activities. It's particularly important in a fiercely competitive large market that they monitor what their rivals are doing, and particularly what their rivals are doing in terms of the marketing mix. What pricing strategies are they using? What are they doing with their product ranges? How are they promoting? What distribution methods are they using? It's also important that a business, in addition to the marketing mix, considers the production methods that their rivals are using as well. Whereas operating in small markets often is attractive when a business starts out because there may not be as much competition, as many competitors in a small market. But the downside of the small market is, will the amount of sales that the business can realistically achieve in a small market make a decent return for the business? Are they going to make sufficient profit from being in a small market? Also, if they do enter a small market and find it's profitable, is there a risk that a rival from a larger market may move into the small market which our business is operating in? So we looked at the link between market size and competition. We're going to now look at the impact of competition and how businesses might respond. So let's look at the impact of a competitor. Let's imagine a scenario where we've got a small shop here. Perhaps it's a general store selling small grocery items. And all of a sudden, a massive competitor is going to set up nearby and enter our market. Dun dun dun. How might our business respond? Well, let's consider the marketing mix. First of all, the product. Can we match the range of products that this business is offering in our little shop? Possibly not. So we're going to have to maybe alter our approach as a result of the competitor. An idea might be to maybe stock more niche products that our major mass market competitor wouldn't stock. Or maybe another way we can differentiate our product is through the customer service that we offer in our little store, which they wouldn't really be able to do as easily in a big store. Let's think about price next. Can we compete on price? Well, this business is likely to be benefiting from economies of scale and bulk buying, whereas as an independent local grocer, we haven't got that. So we're likely to be a price taker. There may be certain products where we just have to match the price that the larger competitor is charging, and we'll have to take that on board. However, can we differentiate our product enough, maybe through good customer service, that we could actually retain some ability to set our own prices? These would be the challenges that the business would have to think about if a large competitor opened up. What about promotion? Well, we can't really compete on the advertising spend or the brand that our large competitor has. So what can our local business do instead? Maybe targeted local marketing, that we know our local market better, and so we can be more effective with it. But again, these are challenges that a business might have to deal with. And the last one, what about the place element? This business probably has large distribution channels, maybe good links with suppliers. They have a threat of online competition. So these would be issues that we would have to consider as well. So businesses need to think about the threat posed by competitors when they enter their markets, and this would be a good example. So more generally, what can a business do in the face of competition? Well, one area to focus on is maybe not being too reliant on some customers. So have a broader range of customers, or maybe focus marketing efforts on the customers that are most profitable. The second thing the business could consider is how reliant are we on a particular supplier? Maybe building relationships with other suppliers or having an alternative source of supply would make us a more competitive business, easier to respond to, or less reliant on one supplier. The last one is to improve our competitiveness, or make competition work in our favour, is maybe try and create some barriers to entry, make it more difficult for other businesses to enter the market and compete alongside our business. How could we do that? Maybe having a stronger brand would discourage competition. Trying to make our products different would discourage competition. Trying to have not just maybe the retail, but also the distribution, having a share of the distribution channels that allows us to have a competitive advantage. Operating so efficiently that we have such low costs for our products that no one else can compete and match our low costs and therefore our low prices. A last idea might be to try and get or guarantee access to key raw materials. So if you're an oil company, having access to an oil field excludes your competition from using that oil field, and so therefore you can create a barrier for them being a competitor to you. What is very important in terms of being competitive is trying to develop a unique selling point, or a USP. So a unique selling point is something that sets a product apart from its competitors in the eyes of customers, both new and existing. It's a way to differentiate your product, ensuring you don't have to compete just on price, and as a result allowing your business to achieve higher profitability. So what really counts at the end of the day to be a competitive business and to thrive in a competitive environment? Having a great product and a unique selling point, being the most efficient operator and lowering your unit cost so that no rivals can compete with you in terms of cost and therefore profits and price. And lastly, customer service, providing a service to your customer that differentiates you from your rivals is another way that businesses can be really competitive and stand out from the crowd. So in this video we've looked at the link between market size and competition, and the impact of competition and how businesses might respond, and the kind of key features a business needs to ensure it succeeds in a competitive environment.